Welcome back to another game with Rock Ranger. Starting out on the adventures with the Pirc defense. I'm not sure if that's how you pronounce it actually. I think it's something like Pirc, something like this. So it's played up against e4 on this occasion. Stockfish 13 doesn't recommend the opening, preferring to go for the Sicilian or for the French. That would be the French. But we see d6, which is the pitch. So those are the lines that black should follow up with according to the engine. He likes it, so that prevents this here. Yeah, I tried that in my own games with this defense. I didn't like it. It never worked out so well. So let's have a look. This is really what you should go for. I'm not sure why. Why don't we give that a shot and see what the threat is? There's the threat. Now that threat is on the board because that bishop is kind of in a bad spot, right? So we just know by general principles that that a bishop that's kind of locked here, he doesn't have a lot of spaces he can go to anymore. He can't really go there anymore because he's just going to get hit there, goes back there, he's just going to get hit. So that bishop is now a target. So you must see the pieces in that way. Where are the targets? Where are the targets that you can hit him? Where are the targets in his camp? And where are the targets in your camp? What's being targeted? Or what has the potential being targeted? Once you identify the targets, then there's a target there too, by the way, and then once you identify those, then that's when you start making some decisions. There's a target there as well, the d4 square, because as soon as he plays d3, it leaves d4 not so good. And you see the evaluation just does not like that. Even though that's white's best move right now, even if he makes his best move, he's losing. All right, because of the way he's played this. So he shouldn't have played the bishop out. That was a problem. He's already exposed the bishop, and it breaks one of the rules, one of the guidelines, one of the pieces of advice, which is bring your knights before bishops. Knights out first, then bishops. Probably because there's lots of pawns on the board, and those pawns are in the bishop's way. That bishop cannot move to this square or to that square because there are pawns on those squares. And that could be a way of interpreting that. Whereas if a knight had come out first, then that knight can go anywhere to a lot of different spots. He can go to a lot of different places, and in every single one of those places, he's got a kind of a threat behind it. So that's why knights in the opening phase of the game are a little bit better than bishops. It's not really until the middle game or towards the end game or in the end game when the bishops become powerful. But while there are a lot of pawns on the board, bishops are not as good as knights. So you want to get your knights into the game quickly. The best move here, though, apparently is just simply d4, taking control of the center and preventing black from doing anything like that. Already setting up scare tactics there for black. Because if black were to do, if white does this, black goes there, white takes, black takes, queen takes, king takes, black can no longer castle. All right? So then we bring the bishop out, we bring the knight out, castle, king, queen side, rooks here, check. You see? So that's kind of what's happening here. But because he brings the bishop out, his bishop becomes a target. The targets are there. The targets are there. White doesn't have any threats. There's no threats. Whereas that has kind of got a threat behind it. If you do this, you're going to die. Okay? That's the threat. But this doesn't really have any threats. What white is looking for is this. Maybe this. or this, but those are all kind of schoolboy moves which are easily parried with one move. So there's your target. What does that tell you? Threaten the target. This is not threatening the target. Maybe with that. You're impeding the yes, okay, but it's easily parried. And I like the way he's saying parry it with the queen. He's not sure. Let's give him a little bit more time and see what he comes up with. He's trying to decide between the bishop and the queen. I wonder what Stockfish 14 would have to say about it. I might try an analysis with Stockfish 14 one of these days. I've got it on the computer, but it's a bit of a hassle to... I don't quite know how to open it up on the platform, but I'll get around to it. Okay, I still like Stockfish 13, still like him, don't want to leave him. So it looks like here, yeah, I mean it's 0-0. It's equal, whatever you play. All right, so whatever. And now he loses instantly. Wow, he fell for the trap. He fell for the opening trap. Look at that. That's right, buddy. You've got to pay attention. You've got to pay attention to what your opponent is doing. What's my opponent doing? Yes, he's checking me. What else is he doing? Why is he bringing his queen out? Well, the queen has got the superpower of being able to move diagonally and laterally. And that's her superpower. No other piece can do that. So when the queen's walking around the board, look out, she's got her superpower in store. So that's what he should have seen. He doesn't see it. He blocks the check, thinking that you've only got one line of attack. You don't, and he's over. All right, so game over now. Game over, basically. Notice how he wants to bring out the attack. Where should you go? Wow, look at that. Go back to where you came from. Thanks a lot for gobbling that up, and now I'm just going to go straight back. Interesting, nice revision on the ideas. Why does he want to go there? It's kind of cool, isn't it? Because if you go there, can't you just come there? What's the threat? There must be a threat behind that. I don't want to look yet. Hang on, let's see if we can find it. He wants to stay on this diagonal. What's he looking at? He might be looking at that. And he's preventing the castling. Yeah, he wants to prevent white from castling. Castling kingside. I think that's what's going on. So let's see if you move there. What's the threat? Wow. Whoa. What is that? Like it's a really powerful threat. Okay, well let's just play it through and see what happens. Now he changes his mind. Ugh. So he's going to prepare it. Okay, well let's go. What's the threat? Here's the pin. Ah, you damage the pawns. So he would bring, he's threatening to do that. Take the knight, pawn takes, or queen, doesn't matter. Queen takes the bishop, queen takes queen, pawn takes queen, and then this is open for business on that white king. King is blocked in by his own pawns. He won't be able to come and join the endgame. So I think that's what's happening. I mean, we could play it through if you want. Do you want to play it through a little bit? Let's just say, yeah, I mean, that's obvious, isn't it? And that's why he wanted to go there before, because he knew that that was coming. Okay. Preparing to just hit that center. Okay, just hit the center. Develop the knights. Centralize the rooks. I wonder why I did that. Maybe just to give the queen a flight square. Okay, this is beyond me. All right, so let's go back. Let's go back here. What happened? So we're going up here. You switch over. Good. This is called a switch, by the way. Like that's actually the technical term. It's not a switch attack. Nice to keep the pin on. That's good. Like that a lot. And then maybe why it's got that kind of threat. Pin the other side as well. Probably you can just safely ignore that. Oh, hang on. Yeah, that blocks the mobility of your queen. Your queen's kind of mobile right now, right? She's got a lot of flexibility. That's coming. You know, remember your queen's a target. So you want to, whenever you've got a target, whenever you know that your piece is a potential target, you want to keep the mobility, the possibility for as many squares that she can go to as possible. So locking it up like that is not the best plan. And that doesn't really threaten anything because you haven't got anything that can occupy that square. If the knight was there somehow, or here, then the knight's going to threaten to hop into there. But right now, it's an empty threat, you know. And also, you're not preventing anything because he's not coming. I don't think he's ever really threatening to come here. Yeah, because it'll just weaken him too much. He's already down, so he wants to play defense. He's playing defense right now, so he doesn't want to do that. So you didn't need to do that. I mean, it's no problem. It doesn't change the rating very much, but it was not necessary. Better is to develop your pieces, and try to bring them out with with something behind them. Okay, no worries. So he's getting attacked now. See, now your options are limited. What would have happened if you hadn't done that? What would have happened if you'd come out there and then you'd played that? Yeah, you see? You've got options. You've got options. So you want to keep your options open. That's the thing. And how do you know whether to keep your options open? It's simply by keeping that idea in mind. Where are the targets? Where are the targets in his camp? And where are the targets in my camp? So he even wants to still go after that target. And that, you've got to know that your queen is a target, always. Especially when she's out in front of her own pawn, she's a target. And when you know that you're a target, something's a target, keep them flexibility. Make sure it's not going to get trapped. Okay, it's fine. Chose the right move. Good. She's behind her pawns, nice and safe, but no attack, you see. Whereas if you hadn't had that, you could have switched over there and then you've got a possibility for an attack. Queen's not on the attack now. No worries, it's a longer game. Yeah, I kind of like this choice. This is modern, by the way. I don't know when, but maybe a couple of decades ago, you would never have taken that knight. But modern chess, the last 5 to 10 years, they seem to always like taking that knight because it keeps the ball rolling. Exposes the queen. Good. All good. Nice, tight defense. Ramon is downstairs. Okay, here. Dinner's coming soon, so I've got to get through this game. It's got an 80s playlist going on that I've heard about 1,000 times now. Develop the 9. Yeah, there's the threat. There's the threat there. So yeah, he should not have taken you, because that just develops you. Yeah, he should have. Yeah, I mean, that's obvious. Move the pawn in front of the king. Not okay, but he should not have done that. That's for sure, because I mean that's exactly where you want to go. There's the target. There's the target. Targets are not always pieces. Targets are often squares, because from that square, look at that knight. Look at the power of the knight. Amazing. Would have stopped that knight as well. Okay, so that's kind of weak. You would go up there, then you hit the knight. The knight would go back, and then you take that pawn. Okay, so he wants to defend. Okay, he's making the right moves. Both of you are. Now you see, you hit the defender. That's the defender. Are you going to do it? Oh yeah, all right, man. Choosing the right moves here. You've game has leveled up a bit. All right, so here we go. Now, where do you want to go? See, he shouldn't have moved that d4. Like that's what I was saying before. That's never going to move. Yeah, hit the queen. He's saying that one of his best moves is to sacrifice the bishop, get the queen in front of the king. And then how would he get rid of that knight? I wonder how he'd get rid of the knight. He resigned. Did he resign? Is that what happened? Yeah, I guess he resigned. Okay, well let's see. What do you want to play? We can take that. I like this idea. Brings that out. Then here, now you can take that because nothing's protecting it. What's he threatening? Kind of hasn't got any threat. Wow, he wants to trade queens. Oh, man. Okay. Oh, here it is. Check. Wow. Nice. Nice. Look at that. He routed the queen. I mean, it's completely useless here and ineffective, and black is winning by like 1,000. But I was interested to see what he wanted to do with that sacrifice. So he was looking at exposing the king, and then routing the queen to there. That's what his plan was. Interesting, but he prefers that. I wonder if it's still the same plan in mind though. Something else. Okay. So then you hit the bishop. Then he goes back with the bishop, holding his pawn chain. He's saying that that's not as good as, and I'll tell you why it's not as good. If you go there, then he can parry the queen. And then your queen's suddenly under threat. And Stockfish just doesn't like being under threat. You can go in there, and now you're doing nothing, and then he hits you with the other one, and now your queen's trapped and you lose your queen. Alright, so that's kind of why he doesn't like that as much as this. Because now you've got a threat, which is better. Right, so now he's going to get out of there. Where does he want to go? Let's bring him there because he's looking at this. That's what he's looking at. And also that, maybe. Not that. Okay, he's got that in mind. Alright, what does he want you to do here? Possibly, why? Why G6? Why would you play G6 here? There's no reason to play G6. Develop the king. Because he's anticipating that the queens are going to come off the board soon. So he wants you to get your king closer to the center. And he wants the white king to come over because he's anticipating pushing this and then just doing a pawn rush and then getting the rooks onto this open file up against your king. So that's what the plans are here. Interesting. Okay, let's stop there. Good game. Nice one in the Pirc defense. Yeah, so the better move is this, with the idea of transposing over to the French. So yeah, as you improve and your knowledge of different openings starts to evolve, then what happens is you start with one opening, and then depending on what your opponent does, you change it into the other. You change it into a different opening, depending on what your opponent is doing. I mean, but yeah, this is nice. Now, this was an example of one of the threats that your opponent misses. Yeah, boom, and then he can't come back from that. You got that, by the way. What happened there? Yeah, why didn't you, why doesn't he take that? I didn't see that before. What's going on? Why can't you play that? Wow, look at this. Oh my God, look at this. Whoa. Looky, looky, looky. That's what you've always got to be careful about with that F7 pawn. Wow. Because, do you see it? If you take it, you lose the queen. Wow. Cool. Very nice. Very, very nice. Okay, nice, good idea to go back and check that one out. Yeah, be careful, huh? Did you see that in the game? If not, you've seen it now. Good game. Thanks for that.